Hey guys, it's Matt. This is an image of Harrison Ford on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon roughly 5 years ago. And even then, it looks like he doesn't really want to be there. For 10 years, Harrison Ford looks like he just wants to go off and be left alone, but he's made a deal of some kind. He keeps being brought back, saying, here's the script for this horrible, wretched Dial of Destiny movie, Harrison. You're going to embarrass the Indiana Jones character and make yourself look like a jerk. It's the same repeating script over and over again. None of these actors, it seems like, can ever say no. They can't get a script handed to them and say, this really isn't for me. I'm going to say no. It's literally like a deal with the devil. They just keep coming back. All our friends and family can do is, well, they need the money. The money's too alluring, man. Oh, it's always about the money. It's always a reason why they keep coming back when they're in their 70s and 80s. So today's video is, I guess, one half proof of Notnilc and about the other half stalled century, where there's a real reason where they need him to come back. There's a real reason from the creep's perspective why he can't say no. Again, if anything were real, he would have read the script and said, this script embarrasses the Indiana Jones character, and I won't be a part of it. And who is this Phoebe Waller-Bridge Balls woman that's going to upstage me? No, I'm not going to participate in it. I'm going to go off and raise cattle or whatever he's going to do. It can never happen. People around us don't notice anything. Just we're one of those people. They just keep coming back. No one can ever say no if they get too far under the dragon's wing. Guys, I won't stray off the proof of Notnilc / stalled century topic again, but I had forgotten to check CNN. Remember, I try to check CNN. I'm not going to talk about something trivial like actors keep having to come back if, say, Chicago's no longer there. Something major happened in the world. And so I checked late, and we just have to get this off our chest. It says, one of the major headlines at CNN.com, bitter prelude, whatever that is, to a neck-and-neck election is upon us. A neck-and-neck election. Who is falling for this? This is absolutely, I don't even know how to talk about it. It's so ridiculous. It's so false. There isn't one person anywhere in the world that shouldn't be able to see right through this. There shouldn't be one person that lives literally under a rock somewhere in the Alps that follows U.S. political, news through the radio program that shouldn't be able to see right through this. This isn't. You think they'll have a decision that night? Oh, they'll make you wait, and the next, they're recounting hanging chads, and there'll be a constitutional crisis, and we'll wait days, and then if it's last time it was Biden, they had to wait. It was so close, Biden, and my neighbors came out with pots and pans. And I should say to them, well, how did the world change? Like, what did you get out of that? And then, of course, they'll put probably Trump back in, and the conservative neighbors will come out, will wave their flags, come out with their pots and pans. Like, what a bunch of absolute assholes we're surrounded by. Sorry. What prompted this video about proof of Notnilc / they can never leave is I recently found out that Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix is coming back to star in this horrible, wretched new show from Disney about Star Wars called The Alkalite. It might be out now. I don't know. I saw part of the trailer. They're like jumping around with Matrix-type kung fu moves with lightsabers. Like, what the hell is this crap? I mean, look, if you don't know what's going on here, 20 seconds or less, Disney has completely destroyed Star Wars via every one of these series that it's put out. Obi-Wan, the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, they're absolutely horrible. The Mandalorian got some praise in the first season for some reason. To me, that was horrible. I canceled my Disney Plus a long time ago. But then even season 3, the fans say is horrible. Everything has been destroyed. Of course, it's all on purpose. The point is, let's not stray too far from what we're talking about here. If anything in the world were real, Carrie-Anne Moss would say, I don't even need to see the script. I'm beloved for my role in The Matrix. I don't want to lose my reputation with my Matrix fans. We could go out and have Matrix conventions forever, and I can make my money that way. I don't want to take a chance of tarnishing my entire legacy because, see, the series, Disney, that you've been putting out are absolute horse shit. That's what Carrie-Anne Moss would have said to Disney. I'm not interested. I'm not going to participate in this. And your friends and family, they need the money. They can't. No, you see, There's really weird. It's not anything to do with money. Once in a while, it might be. There's some really weird ass things going on in this reality, and there's like a deal with the devil, like literally going on via stalled century. Once they get too far into the dragon's wing, in my opinion, they can't say no. This seems to be like the era of humiliation, of the ruination of absolutely everything. We could just present example after example, hour after hour. Let's do Linda Hamilton, the last Terminator, Terminator Dark Fate. Of course, the last one is always horrible. It's out to ruin and destroy what came before it. Now, all these examples pretty much would go the same way. If anything were real in this world, maybe 7 out of 10 need the money, and they're having like a Wesley Snipes type crisis, and they'll do anything. But 3 or 4 out of 10 would be like, no, I'm not doing it, because you know what? It's not good enough. But it never happens. Linda Hamilton was married to James Cameron. Did you know that? Remember the major producer, director, movie maker, James Cameron? He's probably worth about $1 billion. I'm not saying she took half his money like Tiger Woods' woman, but do you think she got any money? Do you think she has problems affording her Jello pudding pops? I think she's okay. I bet she doesn't really need money. So if anything were real, she'd say, this script, really, it's just not good enough. I don't want to ruin my legacy and my beloved reputation with the fans. And then those that want to make the movie to destroy would say, well, Arnold's in. Arnold committed to it. And Linda Hamilton, if anything were real, she'd say, well, of course he did. He'd do anything. He'd roll around in the mud for $1. He'd pretend to be the governor of California for $10. Of course he's in. He's a low Longshanks. He's all Longshanks. He's Notnilc. He'll do anything. That's Schwarzenegger. And he's kind of a beloved kind of caricature, kind of a pathetic thing. Hard to be upset at a bumbling idiot like that. But Linda Hamilton's always seemed a little smarter to me, always seemed to be a little bit more on the ball. If anything were real, she wasn't so far into the dragon's wing, she'd say, you know what? I'm not doing Terminator Dark Fate. It sucks rocks. Improve it, and I'll consider it. For now, get the F out. Remember, we've talked about why were some of these things so good in the past. Remember what Dan summed up for us. He said, it has to be good initially for it to be ruined. How can something be ruined without it being good initially? You have to have a taste of the best quality food. Then if you're served the Alpo day after day and you've tasted the perfectly grilled shrimp with just a hint of butter or whatever it may be. For me, it would be that perfect cheesesteak, wit, onions, mushrooms, provolone, not American cheese, provolone. And if I've tasted it, but then I want to get that cheesesteak I got again, and then they just pour Alpo up and down the Amoroso roll. Like, well, you put Alpo in here. I want that cheesesteak. Oh, we don't have that anymore. You get this. I've tasted it. That's the effing problem. I've tasted what was once good. For them to take it away properly in their dark spell or whatever, they have to let people experience what was once good. So back to the ruination of the Indiana Jones character, of which bumbling Harrison Ford just kept playing along. God forbid he could just stand up and be a man and say, no, I'm not doing this. It made the Phoebe Waller-Bridge Balls character, that this I don't know, supposed to be his niece or something. She kept trying to screw him over. At one point, I don't know what happened. I'll never watch it, of course. They have to get off a plane and he won't go or something. She smashes him. She punches him across the face. Phoebe Waller-Bridge Balls punches Harrison Ford, knocks him out, and then drags him wherever he needs to be. He won't go willingly, so she's going to take over. So you see your beloved Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, the character you remember growing up as a kid, completely punched out by some unlikable, I don't, they, them or something, Phoebe Waller-Bridge Balls. I mean, talk about an intentional ruination. And then everybody makes excuses. Oh, the writers don't know what they're doing. The writers are, oh, sure. Yeah, we're just one of those people. And the people that came before, too many of them are given a pass. Like George Lucas and Mark Hamill. Oh, they can't say anything against it. Why not? George Lucas and Mark, from 2015 on, they should have been screaming from the top. They should have never participated, by the way, in it. They should have bowed out. They should have said, this is horrible. It's being ruined. Oh, they just have to go along and be good little foot soldiers. Same with George Lucas. And trolls probably saying, oh, yeah, this is becoming a Hollywood entertainment YouTube channel. No, this is a stalled century. This is They Can Never Leave. This is proof of Notnilc. This is noticing how the underlying reality works. I'm never going to stray from that. No, it's not TMZ. Okay? There's some weird shit going on. If anything, it is further evidence, like we don't need anymore, that whether you're a real spiritual being or you're an NPC or you're one of those people, like one of their incarnations, if you get too close to it, you cannot get out of it. If you cozy up to it and get under that dragon's wing, the proof is overwhelming. There is no coming out of it. Am I missing anything? Can you name anybody that got too close to it, that says, Warren Buffett says, I'm done with this. Or Mark Zuckerberg says, I don't want to be Facebook CEO anymore. I'm just going to go have fun. Nobody can ever walk away. It's just reality as usual, giving itself away. I have to return to this humiliation once every 6 months. The Mark Zuckerberg in his backyard with the sweet, the sweet baby Ray's sauce and his big green egg griller. And these people aren't the top. These people aren't the top of who. These people are role players. They're not the top of anything. That's humiliation time. I mean, and if he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, what's with that backyard? Matt, at Silicon Valley, they don't get big backyards. I mean, come on. I mean, and then all these memes about the sweet. And somebody had the balls when we first talked about it, or the gall when we first talked about it years ago, to say, well, it's obviously a sponsorship, Matt. They paid. Oh, sure. He would need the money, and Facebook would need the little $20,000 injection from Sweet Baby Ray's sauce to get the. Oh, sure. Come on. Don't even give me that, Bismarck. Don't even give me that. These people aren't on top. They're clowns. Okay, so let me get this straight. I'll set the scene for you. He's supposedly in his backyard. He's got the big green egg griller going. He's got the wood chip griller, whatever that other griller. So you can see smoke even coming out. So he's got a fence because apparently there's a neighbor that can come right up to the fence. I mean, he's got just a neighbor right there, and the neighbor can say, "Mark, you grilling again? I'm tired of that smoke. That smoke bellows right in my dining room, and I got my windows open. I'm tired of that grilling. I don't want to smell that smoke anymore." So the neighbor can come over and get on a little stepladder and put his head over the fence and say, "Mark, I'm tired of this grilling all the time. The smoke is upsetting my cats." I mean, give me a break. And Matt, you're missing the whole point. It's not just the Sweet Baby Ray's endorsement. He's getting money from Big Green Egg and the other grill too. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to take the whole channel down. I'm looking at more of these cartoons and memes, and I'm not going to look at the actual live video again because it's just looking in his eyes. There's something not right about him. I'm not ever going to try to look at him again. I think he said did he say the sauce is the boss? I think he did. That must be some sort of truth drop. That even the sauce is of a higher rank than what you consider Mark Zuckerberg. It's telling you that he's lower than the sauce. It's a truth drop right from his own lips. The sauce is the boss. Sitting here for a minute, I'm thinking, we need to change up the way we do this, especially for the comments. Instead of the endless humiliations, the endless ruination, we need to flip it. Is there any actor that hasn't done a major humiliation, or what hasn't been ruined? Now, this just came to me. I don't know Josh Brolin's career at all. I don't know if he did some weird act was it No Country for Old Men, had to do something in a bathroom. I don't know. Maybe he's already been humiliated. Maybe this is a bad example, but I just thought of this and thought, I don't know. I don't follow everything that comes out of Josh Brolin's career, but he doesn't seem to be humiliated yet. Matt, just wait. So he does this Outer Range. I watched a few of them. It's not that great. It has potential. It tries to be Yellowstone, but more serious with some supernatural element, and it drags on, and it's okay. It's okay, but I'm not thrilled. But okay, is there anybody who hasn't been completely humiliated, degraded, and destroyed? I guess Carrie Ann Moss she's coming up in the Alkalite, where her reputation will be destroyed there. Is anybody left alone? Is Josh Brolin a good example? I don't know. I'll look to your comments. And of course, what we've been talking about here is absolutely related to their stalled century spell and why the same old TV shows and movies have to be recycled over and over again with no new creativity. I don't know if it's still in theaters. Boy, I'm sorry I missed it. The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and is that Emily Blunt. How many things can Emily Blunt possibly be in? I mean, I think she books herself in 2, 3, books herself in little room. She books herself in 4 or 5 things at a time. Does she have to be in absolutely everything? Ryan Gosling, was his humiliation, was it Barbie? Was that his? I didn't see it. Was that, even though there's people in our truth community that says I need to see it for truth? I can't stomach it right now, Barbie. But remember, he was also in movies where he had a relationship with a sex doll. That's a humiliation. They've all done it. Emily Blunt. Emily, hey Emily, I'm making a movie in my backyard. You want to come here? She's in so many damn things. Anyway, this is Stalled Century. It's absolutely related to what we're talking about here. It's part of a weird, creepy, dark spell or some desperate attempt to stall out time or something. At the very minimum, it is there to remind real spiritual beings that the old world that you knew and loved, oh, it's still here. Look, you've got the Fall Guy. Here's a new MacGyver. Here's a new Magnum PI. Oh, the old world from the last century. Oh, it's still here. While they would say we are fundamentally and metaphysically changing reality right under your noses. So just get your Linus blanket. Oh, nothing's changing, while they're literally changing reality itself. Emily Blunt, Stunts, and Gosling. How did the Fall Guy flop? Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea why the world doesn't want to see some forgotten 2-bit 1980 TV show that nobody cared about except people like right in my era, my generation. People age 47 to say 54 might have cared just because they had the Heather Thomas poster on the wall. Oh, I have no idea why it would flop trying to recreate a TV show that nobody cared about even then. That's what I'm talking about. Matt, you didn't have this post. Yes, I did. Right on the wall. I don't know what years. Maybe like 83 through 87 or something like that. This is how I learned to talk to women. I talked to the poster on the wall. Is that what happened? Yeah, that's why I'm not very good. The poster never talked back. That way I had to create a bunch of bullshit. I had to do the talking. Women don't like that. You just ask. I learned the 40-year-old version. You ask them questions about themselves. Never knew that. If it's not Stalled Century, then it doesn't make any sense. So how'd the boardroom meeting go in 2022? We need to have a big 2024, guys. Anybody have any ideas? The boardroom of whatever studio made it. Yeah. Let's do The Fall Guy. The what? Let's do a movie, The Fall Guy. What? You mean that Lee Majors horse shit from like 1979, 80, or 81 with that? I remember Heather Thomas, the person in the boardroom said, I remember the poster. But you think people would want to see that? Oh, yeah, there's nostalgia for people aged 54 to 56. So they're going to be all excited about committing to The Fall Guy. See, here's the thing, guys. What do our friends and family say? Well, Matt, they'll recycle anything just for money. They don't care about the right. They just will. If it was just about the money and they're just going to the well to make a quick buck, then here's a key little point, a little proviso. They would need to make money. If it's just about no creativity because they just want to make a quick buck, see, then it would have to make a quick buck. These things fail. And, per these movie reviewers on YouTube, whatever, they keep reminding you that if the box office results were $250 million and the budget for the film was $200 million, it seems like it made $50 million, but it didn't because of the marketing costs and this and that they don't show you. They say double. You have to double it. So if they tell you, which how do we even know that's real? If they tell you the movie cost $100 million to make, they say at the very minimum it cost $200 million to make. They're all flopping. Oh, no, they're not making a quick buck. So what do our friends and family say to that? Well, they certainly wouldn't agree with our take on Stalled Century. That's for sure. They would think that deserves the insane asylum. We'll use this one from Bill because at the bottom it says Notnilc nostalgia, and that is what it's all about for the last 10 or 15 years. Remember those Norman Rockwell paintings used to be everywhere if you're over age 50. They just kind of faded away in the last 25 or 30 years. They used to be everywhere. Every doctor's office you went in at your grandmother had a Norman Rockwell. I don't know. I was never that impressed. I like Bill's Notnilc version a little bit. By the way, that paper off to the right, far right above the, painter's palette, it says Notnilc Travel Tours. And for what we'll talk about in the last segment here, I don't have any idea the process here, how this happens, where these people get stuck. I'll look to your comments. On one end of the sliding scale, Mr. Hanks, you're doing well with Bosom Buddies. Would you like to be a big star? We really think you have potential, Mr. Hanks. And step into the room here. He steps into the room, and literally there's a devil on a throne. There's a devil on a throne. Mr. Hanks, meet the devil. Sign here. That's one end of the spectrum, a literal Robert Johnson deal with the devil. Maybe I'm not taking off I'm not taking it off the plate of possibilities. But the other side is they don't leave because they don't want to leave. It's a different sort of entity. It doesn't want to go off and uh, experience life or fulfill itself spiritually. It's an energy vampire in and of itself. It needs to be surrounded by the energy. I mean, so Harrison Ford looks like he wants to get out, but maybe that sort of entity doesn't really want to get out. But you'd think there are, again, this brings into the conversation, there's two different types here. There's the Notnilc type, or what Tony called the sequential incarnation. But there's a lot of good people that, of course, are fooled, real spiritual beings that get fooled to try to cozy up to Hollywood and think that's what they're supposed to do in life, and they get too deep into it, too far. What's the threat to them while they never leave? Do they just know without it needing being said they can't get out? Or you know what I mean? It's just fascinating to think about. Like, because look, if there were 15, 20 Hollywood stars that just got out, or 15 CEOs that you knew of that said, I'm not going to do this anymore, there wouldn't be a lot to talk about. It's so fascinating because the rule is almost never broken. I mean, it can be, and it's all different types of the stories. You have the Roman Polanski story, where they, he was involved with a Roman Polanski bot, the rape of an underage minor, and then did they force that on him? I mean, is that his humiliation? I mean, who knows? It's just so weird. I'll look to your comments, guys. How do you think the process works? One end of the sliding scale, Mr. Hanks, meet the devil. Okay, or Mr. Dillon, like he said to 60 Minutes, the chief commander. On the other side, no, Matt, it's not that they feel stuck at all. This entity is not the same as you. It needs to be involved in around that sort of energies for it to exist. Who knows? I'll look to your comments. But we have an overwhelming number of examples of the same sorts of things playing out over and over. Nobody ever gets out. Nobody ever wants to retire. Warren Buffett never steps down to play golf. Stalled century. I mean, talk about reality gives itself away. We've been noticing this for 5 or 7 years. It keeps happening the same way. I guess I don't know. It doesn't matter how much it happens. We're still the only ones that can see it. Thanks for listening.